With Boston Celtics guards Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon leaving the rotation, obviously incomer Jrue Holiday is going to take a big step up. But what does that mean for guard Payton Pritchard? In this episode of Celtics Digest, we'll be talking about how Payton Pritchard wants to explore his offensive game this offseason and talk about some potential contract extensions that the Celtics are having with Payton Pritchard. Also, we'll get into Mike Gorman's replacement for NBC Sports Boston and surprise news about Jrue Holiday surrounding his family. But before we get into any content on Celtics Digest with the revolving the Celtics, I would like to say that 89% of our viewers are not subscribed. And we'd greatly appreciate it if you guys hit that big old red subscribe button and welcomed and joined the Celtics Digest family. Guys, we can't thank everyone enough for getting us to 600 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that's already hit that big red button. But if you still watch our videos and haven't yet, make sure to smash that button. We're going to be providing Celtics content almost daily here for you guys throughout the whole regular season and playoffs and leading up to this season as well. And you guys are going to want to make sure you guys are strapped in and get your Celtics content here. We're on our goal of 1,000 subscribers, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. But let's get into the Celtics news at hand today, talking about how Mike Gorman's replacement is now replaced. And yes, Mike Gorman is going to be doing his last season of color commentary here for the Boston Celtics. So NBC Sports Boston is looking for a replacement for him, and they found a replacement for some of his road games that they're going to be covering this season. So let's get into that, talking about how Mike Gorman, obviously the play-by-play announcer, has been doing this coverage for 43 years, and this is going to be his final season in his role due to some health issues last season. Mike Gorman couldn't really travel with the team and couldn't travel with the team for a long bits of time. So therefore, because of that, he is looking to step away, and the Celtics are looking to replace him. Obviously, they just replaced the late Tommy Heinsohn a couple years ago after he passed and replaced him with analyst Brian Scalabrine, who's been doing a tremendous job with the Boston Celtics. The Celtics also have sideline reporter Abby Chin, who's been doing great. But Drew Carter is going to be welcoming this broadcast team this season as the play-by-play commentator for all of Celtics preseason and regular season road games. Carter is a native of Minnesota, but he roots for the Boston Celtics and has spent the last several years calling games for ESPN across a variety of sports. Obviously, Mike Gorman, this is going to be his last year, 43 years of calling Boston Celtics games. He will tip off his farewell season starting at Madison Square Garden on the road, and he'll be honored throughout the season by NBC Sports Boston, the Celtics, and fans, including lead-up specials and content surrounding the season opener, a series of on-air, in-air, arena vignettes during home games, and surprise guests in the booth throughout the season. And in Mike Gorman Night, as a Celtics home game in April celebrating all of his accomplishments, NBC Sports Boston will also feature on-air promos and social media content honoring Mike and his legacy all season long. And that's great to hear. Mike Gorman obviously was the partner with Tommy Heinsohn for 40 years, and many of our parents and even me growing up has only known those two guys to be the commentators. So a lot of Celtics fans have grown up with these guys. These are the guys that they know, and they don't want to see their old-fashioned guys get replaced. So hopefully a guy in Jrue can be solid for the Boston Celtics and actually help out with Brian Scalabrine and be this new force of commentators for the Celtics. I know me personally, I love watching the NBC Sports Boston podcast. It might be a little bit biased to get the games from them, but I love watching it over ESPN and stuff like that as I get to hear Celtics news and what they get to know about the Celtics, the inside information, and that's what drives me and makes me happy as a fan. So I'm hoping that these new commentator alongside Brian Scalabrine can actually do that job and be as good as Mike Gorman and Tommy Heinsohn have been for Celtics Nation in the past. But let's get into another topic, talking about Jrue Holiday and Jrue's Holiday family being surprised but very, very excited for this season with the Boston Celtics. Obviously, Jrue had his press conference yesterday, and we made a video, me and Josh, all about that. So if you missed that video, I'll make sure to link it up here, and you guys can click on it and watch it after you guys get through with this video. But Jrue's wife had something to say yesterday on Twitter. Lauren Holiday, talking about how on Wednesday her husband took a nap. He woke up with the news that he'd been moved, no warning, no heads up, not even a conversation that could be possible, just it's done. And now move on because it's not personal, it's business. And she obviously knows that this is a business, but she starts going into detail about how she has her family and how they were living in Milwaukee and how they thought they were going to be in Milwaukee. And even though it's a business and she's coming to Boston, she's happy to be in Boston and excited to be here for Jrue's next journey. She was a little disappointed in how it was brought upon her and her family, and I can totally agree. I know that obviously it is a business and that obviously these general managers view these players as just trading pieces. They don't view them as personal humans, but these guys are people and they do this for their everyday. They got families, they got they got people that they got to move with them. They got kids. What happens if your kid's enrolled in school in Milwaukee? They think they're going to be their whole life, and then next thing you know, they're just living in Boston. They got to make new friends. They got to move hours and hours away. It's kind of crazy for these people. They got to move off of jobs for the wives as well, potentially. So it is a difficult thing for these families to deal with, and I can totally understand what she means by that. But ultimately, it is a business, like she says, and the Celtics are going to do them right as a business. Obviously, Jrue Holiday's family is big in community, and he's a big community guy. The Celtics obviously a big community team, so I'm sure that Jrue Holiday's family will get involved with the Celtics in some way, and the Celtics will make them feel accommodated and welcome in the city of Boston. And that's all you want to hear with bringing in your new superstar. You want to make sure that he is happy, he is content, and he is ready to go. And we got that all yesterday in our press conference video, and we are very, very excited for number 4 Jrue Holiday to represent the Boston Celtics. But let's get into this last topic at hand, guys, what has to deal with other guard Payton Pritchard engaging in some contract talks. And yes, we have seen, obviously, Payton Pritchard have a dilemma of problems with the Boston Celtics last season. The Celtics brought in Malcolm Brogdon. They had Derrick White that they brought in. They also had Marcus Smart. So they had a big 4-guard rotation. And Pritchard was put at the end of that rotation after being a vital part to this team in the year prior, going to the championship. Last season, he was not a big piece, and he expressed some trade requests. And the Celtics were ultimately going to go through with that request and move on from Payton Pritchard at the end of the offseason, but ultimately felt that they could keep Payton Pritchard on a cheaper deal and develop him and move off some of these other guys. As you've seen, we traded Marcus Smart to get Kristaps Porzingis. We moved off of Malcolm Brogdon to get Jrue Holiday. And now Payton Pritchard's role for the Boston Celtics is seeming to increase, as the only main guards the Celtics have at the moment are Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, and Jaylen Brown. Payton Pritchard's going to have to be that main third point guard and be that guy for the Boston Celtics. So let's look at a quote that I got from Payton Pritchard that actually was from John Corrales that said, on Media Day, Pritchard last season says, as hard as it was, the competitive nature in me, like it was tough, but it's definitely think that I matured a lot last year through not playing a lot. That's something you do your whole life, all of us. We play all the time. To be the guy on your team and then for the first time in your life, you're not going to play. So it's a big change for us to experience that. And for me, I think I matured a lot. My game grew, but mentally I grew in all areas. Now it's a long season and it's all about balance and finding your routine and rhythm in life. And I love to hear that come out of Payton Pritchard. Seems to me that like last year, he was kind of thrown away and kind of been like not expecting not to play. But now going into this season, I think he's excited to be on the Celtics team and excited to showcase what he's learned. As we've seen from Payton Pritchard in the past, at Pro-Ams, he's done dominance. Last season, he did really good at the Pro-Am. This season, he had another stellar Pro-Am game playing with Isaiah Thomas, a big motivator for him and role model for Payton Pritchard, as he's from the West Coast, same thing as Isaiah Thomas. They're both smaller point guards, kind of have a similar play style. Also, both played for the Celtics. So IT being a big role model for Payton Pritchard is huge, and maybe IT taught Payton Pritchard some moves at these training camps and summer league things that Payton Pritchard could use for the Celtics in these games. But let's talk about Payton Pritchard contract extensions as well. We also mentioned that they're discussing a contract extension with Payton Pritchard in his final season of his rookie scale deal. Boston and the 4-year guard have until the start of the regular season to reach an agreement on an extension. If no deal is reached, then the Celtics can make Pritchard an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2024. But Pritchard is expected to take on a bigger role in a revamped Celtics backcourt. Boston traded, obviously, Marcus Smart and 6th man of the year Malcolm Brogdon. Pritchard is expected to be the backup to newly acquired Jrue Holiday and hold over Derrick White this season. So yes, Payton Pritchard, very excited to see what he can bring for the Boston Celtics. I would really like for them to lock him up long-term too. The Celtics said that they weren't this confident in drafting a point guard since Rajon Rondo. We obviously know how Rajon Rondo turned out for the Boston Celtics, and hopefully Payton Pritchard can live up to that role, obviously being the backup guard for now. But once Jrue Holiday gets older, and if he does sign a contract extension with the Celtics and starts to fade to the bench role, maybe Payton Pritchard can take over that starting role in the near future. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you guys excited for the Celtics season? And let me know what you guys are very excited to see with this team in green upcoming. We only got like 3 weeks left to the start of the season, so make sure that you guys are engaged. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button, and to you guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Bruce Veliz. Catch you guys in the next one.